Undertake system and integration checks, undertake ground tests, and thereafter the flight tests. These are the steps which have been mentioned, which I just covered. Apart from that, there may be certain modifications which may be required to be undertaken on that equipment, either prescribed by the OEM or at times we also define certain modifications. Just to give you a picture, a visual picture of the process, this is how the aircraft is disassembled, cleaned. We undertake reclamation of various parts which come out from that. So these are the opportunities where the MSMEs or there can be a participation by private companies into the MRO activities. A lot of our activities we are trying to part task and outsource, though we have our own people working, but because of the constraint of manpower and the requirements which are increasing, we're trying to outsource and give certain tasks to private partners where the people are coming and helping us out. For example, in MiG-29, the structural retrofit part, that is a structural work which is almost 4 months activity out of that entire 2 years duration of the overall is undertaken by a private firm. They have their own employees, they work under our guidance and supervision. Similarly, there is an opportunity for repair of avionics, the printed circuit boards. These are only few examples I am giving. There is a wide range of equipment and assemblies where these tasks can be undertaken. I just mentioned to you about the structural work which is being done by a private company. Then modifications on the aircraft. Coming to the second aspect of indigenization and nodal technological centers. This is a new concept which we have formed, which is a collegium of BRDs with the R&D organization, academia and industry. We want Indian Air Force to work together with academic institutes where they can come out with the technological solutions and industry partner who can actually deliver the equipment. So idea is to conceptualize and execute technologically complex projects where these three agencies can work together and come out with a solution. Certain range of projects which we have undertaken, the recent one being the 3D printing. As you must be aware, 3D printing is a new technology. In Air Force, what happens is the kind of spares which are required are very, very complex. They are flight safety critical. The MOQ is very low. So industry has not been very forthcoming, mainly the manufacturing companies. So to overcome this situation, we have gone into 3D printing. We have other projects on development of avionics modules. A lot of test equipment has been indigenized. There's a variety of test equipment which is required not only during the repair and overhaul process, but also during daily operations of the aircraft or any other system. So there's a huge opportunity here for developing test equipment. Similarly, ground support equipment. Let me give you an example. I am aware possibly Calcutta or West Bengal has not been that much involved with the Air Force. And about 25 years ago, when I had gone to a defense exhibition, I met one gentleman from Calcutta and he came to us. We had certain requirement. He started working with us and today he's doing a lot of business with Indian Air Force. I think the company's name is Acme Industries. Similarly, batteries, modifications, and various upgrades. This is the first part which was developed by us, and it is still flying on a Su-30 aircraft made by 3D printing. And recently, we have undertaken a project where about 100 parts have been identified on various types of aircraft and aero engines, starting from MiG-29, Sukhoi 30, Mi-17 helicopters, Mirage engines, and AN-32 aircraft, where we have identified 100+ items which we intend to manufacture with 3D printing. Lot of opportunity to develop certain airborne components as well, aero engine components, avionics. The pictures are basically to give you an idea of what range of spares can be done. Aircraft and ground testers, which I have just covered. And many of them, many firms are already undertaking this sort of work with us. Ground support equipment. Incidentally, yesterday I concluded a price negotiation committee with one of the firms who is developing. This is the first time when we have got various types of ground power units, which we use it for starting the aircraft, because there are different types of aircraft, the power requirements are different. But now with interoperability of aircraft at different bases, where reaction time is supposed to be very, very less for us to react back, we wanted a ground power unit which can be used for any type of aircraft. It means it can give you a uniform power rating. And yesterday this PNC has been successfully concluded with one of the private firms. We have a lot of batteries which have been indigenized and which are flying on other aircraft, on many of our aircraft. So as a part of Indian Air Force outreach, we have been going to various Indian defense industries also, who are undertaking manufacturing, R&D, who can supply materials to us and who can undertake certain outsourcing work for us. We are regularly conducting vendors meet at our BRDs and NTC symposiums. The next NTC symposium is planned in the month of May at Avadi, that is Air Force Station Avadi near Chennai, and thereafter possibly in month of August or September, it would be in Kanpur. And we have been continuously participating in various defense expos and seminars. So to conclude, what is the way ahead for us and the industry is part tasking and outsourcing of repair and overall activities, undertaking structural and avionics repair, development of avionics and upgrade, development of aviation grade rubber. This is another area which we are targeting. Development of aviation grade alloys, 3D printing, development of various ATs, that is automated test equipment and ground equipment. And the spin-offs which are possible through this is there can be skill development in the areas of aerospace structures, work processes, repair and modification, technology development within the country, development and substitution of materials, and most important, job creation, which is the need of for our country and foreign exchange saving. I have finished, gentlemen. Jai Hind. This is our email ID. Anybody can contact us on this, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you all to participate with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir, for the inputs that you have given us. A launch pad, the Air Force providing for MSMEs to participate in the MRO activities of MRO facilities in the Indian Air Force. Our next panelist is going to be Mr. Rajiv Chakraborty, who was the former CEO and Senior General Manager of, GSF, Gunshell Factory. He has tremendous experience in terms of a lot of outsourcing to the MSMEs. So he is going to highlight those aspects in his address. Thank you.
Our most respected Sri Arup Raha, Chief of Air Staff, former Chief of Air Staff, and my co-panelist. Today we are standing here to discuss on these, how we can bring up the MSMEs and what are the opportunities available in the defense sector. You see, we are now the 5th largest economy, a $3 trillion economy. Are you aware that California state in United States has an economy of more than $3 trillion? Out of 52 states in United States, California itself has an economy of more than $3 trillion. We have, therefore, as a nation, has taken a conscious decision to reach a 5 trillion economy in 2025. So how we can reach it? We have now strategized a policy that we have to increase our participation of the MSMEs in this endeavor. They are the real focus of this exercise. They can only take us to this point. Now let us talk of this defense. But before this defense, I should say that MSMEs are the second largest employment generating sector in India. You may be aware that in United States, if today they are so powerful, it is due to the MSME sector. In fact, the government or the nation has decided that in 2025, we should have $1.7 billion business in defense sector. And the country should achieve an export target of 35,000 crores. Now, to achieve a defense turnover of 1.7 lakh crores and 35,000 export target, 35,000 crores of export, at present, that means in 18-19, it was only 10,500 crores. So we want to achieve 35,000 crores by 2025, and which is achievable. You must be very surprised to know that out of the list of 100 names who are in the defense business in the world, none of our companies come within the first 10. The name of the company which comes first to us is HAL, whose ranking is almost 35, and thereafter BEL, it is around 50. You are aware that a small country, Vietnam, a very small country, Vietnam has a size of almost Rajasthan, with a population of 9.5 crore. And you will be surprised to know that their total export is 220 crores out of a GDP of $300 billion. $220 billion export, whereas ours is only $330 billion. And we are a country of around 130 crores of people. So therefore, in the defense, we have enough opportunities for the MSMEs. In 1.7 lakh crores of defense business, which is at present 64,000 crores in 18-19, the contribution of the defense PSUs and the Public Ordnance Factory Board were 56,000 crores, and rest 6,000 from the private sector. Now, ordnance factories, to be specific, we have a long history. To cut short, the first ordnance factory in the country came into being in 1801 in Kashipur. One of the economists in his book has called that it is a precursor of industrialization in India. It not only established an industrial base in India, but also in the whole of Southeast Asia. The cannons manufactured by it was considered to be comparable to the best in England and outside. It is a conscious policy of Ordnance Factory Board, which has at present 41 factories divided into so many segments on technology lines. We have factories which are manufacturing metallurgical items. We have factories which are manufacturing weapons. We have factories which are manufacturing the vehicles and this ammunition group, including the clothing group. Now, as a conscious policy, right from the very beginning, we were associating MSMEs in our production endeavor. I will give you the figure of the last 3 years. In 16-17, while our domestic procurement figure was 5,806 crores, the procurement from MSME was 2,266 crores. In 17-18, it was 4,513 crores of the total procurement, out of which procurement from MSMEs were 1,719 crore. That is 39%. In 18-19, out of the total procurement of 3,290 crores, procurement from MSMEs were 1,323 crores, almost 40.21%. The mandatory requirement of Government of India, as you are all aware, is that our procurement should be at least 20%. So we have doubled that percentage. And still, we have enough appetite to take the MSMEs in our endeavor to increase the production. You see, for which what we have done, we have changed our production strategies. So long we were manufacturing end-to-end products. Now we have taken over, adopted a policy of lean manufacturing. That means not end-to-end, not each and every item. We will be only working as a system integrator. All the subsystems and the components, including the services, will be taking from MSMEs and other private operators, vendors. So therefore, I feel that this opportunity which has been thrown open to the MSMEs will not only pave way for them to flourish in this environment and enable the country to make us achieve the total turnover of 1.70 thousand crores, 1,70,000 crores. You see, the 275 items, what we have categorized as non-core, that means so long we were producing all these 275 items. But now we have thrown it open for the private sector and especially to the MSMEs to come and take it over. and give it to us. Say, for example, one item I'm talking of, shell 30 millimeters APT or 30 millimeters high explosive shells, which we have advertised that you come and take over. Unfortunately, the response is very poor. The shell requirement of such, the quantity is almost 20 lakh pieces. So it is not a small amount. Similarly, this is the high-end product I'm talking of. The low-end product, that is the clothing items. Here also advertisement has been given, but response is not coming. You know why the government is so interested for the MSMEs to come up? So many advantages and benefits they are given. It is because, just take the case, the United States is bringing out 1 lakh engineers per year, and they can accommodate it. We are bringing out 15 lakhs engineers per year, and 5% also they do not come and join as an entrepreneur. Now, where they will go? Do we want to use this population as a demographic dividend or a demographic disaster? That we have to decide. So that is why the government's intention, our Honorable Prime Minister has a vision. And this vision, he has made it clear when he said that make in India, let us make everything in India so that our people get employment, and we develop the skill. So skill mapping, and then these zero defect. You may be surprised to know that in Delhi in 2015, a tender was given for maintenance of the bus sheds, and the tender went to a French company. It's very surprising. So we have a lot of opportunities. We must not be knowing that CSIR 641 products they have developed, but there is nobody to come and commercialize it. Similarly, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, they have developed 195 products. Somebody should come and commercialize it. So it is expected that the MSMEs will come and live and give a hand in taking forward the country's journey for a 5 trillion economy. Ordnance Factory Board has given a lot of benefit to the MSMEs. Payment, that means now you can register online, and that too centralized registration, and for all items. And once registered, you get the benefit if that registration is in the portal also of MSMEs. Then with the Aadhaar registration number, Udyog Aadhaar registration number, you get the benefit of participating in tenders without giving any money. Ordnance Factory Board is ensuring that 90% payment, you get it on supply of the material, which is accepted provisionally, and 10% when it is accepted finally. So MSMEs have got lot to expect from ordnance factories. They need not have to visit the factories. They can register themselves online based on the documents they will give, certified by them. And when they are giving the material, for the registration, this verification will not be done without verification. And when they are giving the material without inspection, 90% payment will be made. So, for all procurement of commodities which are of office use and costing less than 50,000 rupees, the system of e-procurement, GEM,